This is me on the little chair. Oh, the little chair is probably not the best idea. I didn't count that. Well, hello there. Did anybody say summer, perhaps? Is it summer? Because I don't know about you, but it's not sunny today outside, and it's raining, and that does happen in summer. Indeed it does. And you know what? Rain or shine, we got the books. So I'm really excited to talk about these books today because it's been a long time that I haven't done a sort of casual wrap-up video of just my previous reading month. Here I have 7 books to talk about, which is the perfect amount of books to talk about because you know how I like to ramble sometimes. It's been taking me a lot of time and discernment somehow to figure out which fiction books I want to read, and as of late it often has also happened that I often get really disappointed by the fiction that I get to pick up. Most of the time it wasn't a really good ratio, but now I'm pumped up. I'm super pumped up because I finally read some of the best books ever. I think 2 of these will definitely go on my top 10 of the year wrap up at the end of the year list, whatever. So, summer. What defines a summer book, and why should you read these books this summer? You know what? I was like, when I curate these things and when you want to associate some books with a season, often at least I do this. I'm like trying to construct a narrative for it to make sense to me. Like, yeah, but why would that be an autumn book? And why would that be a summer book? And whatever. And I guess I don't really end up with any, sound conclusions, but I will attempt to describe what for me is a perfect summer book. Summer and winter, I think those are the 2 seasons where I think I really just want to be absorbed in a book. In winter, I know it's to forget the sort of dreariness in the outside world and the monochrome and the rain and whatever. At least in Northern Europe, it rains a lot. But for the summer, the reason why I want to be transported by a book is just, I don't know, it adds to this dreamlike atmosphere of summer already. And there's nothing so good as to just like be in a completely, different place in your head, in your mind, in your heart, and just be like absorbed in like these fictitious lives and these fictitious cities and countries and lands or whatever that you're reading about. And then you look up and you're like, there you go, you're in summer. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's enough blabbering. Let's just pick one up right here. You know what? Like Candy, a novel of love and addiction by Luke Davies. This is an old book. This is an old novel. I came across this book because I'm subscribed is not really the word. I follow some cinema movie pages on Instagram, and they made a movie out of this. Actually, I think the cover that we see here is like a still from the movie. In this copy, you have now a major motion picture starring Heath Ledger and Abbie Cornish. And I thought, wow, what a cool looking movie this is. And I didn't watch the movie, but I saw that it was based on a book. I had never heard of this novel before. The author is an Australian poet, and it's about addiction. It's about heroin. So trigger warning, definitely. I would say that I have my fair share of addictions, not to divulge them here. I have never taken heroin in my life, but it was triggering in the sense of like this feeling of addiction to a substance, the trap, the mental loop that you seem to find yourself in is so well described in this novel. And I think what's particular about it is it's about the love story of these 2 people, right? So they meet, and as soon as they meet is like first love kind of vibe, crush instant, chemistry. These people are just like, they sound like really beautiful people, sexy, fun, and they just sort of, both of them go into a heroin addiction, an intense heroin addiction that would upend their lives and that would completely make them derail for a few years. So you really have this arc of like the coming into it and then the peak and then the sort of slow obviously disintegration of their dynamic with the drug and their dynamic with each other, because at some point there was like a moment where you kind of understood that the dependence was also the dependence to the substance also was very much reminiscent of a sort of toxic dependence to a romantic relationship. The link between those two is made so subtly. It's not even that evident from the start, but you can really start to feel it once the novel progresses. And it was so well written. It was immersive. I highly recommend. This was like a really, really good read for me. This is actually a really good beach read, but do beware, trigger warning for sure. If I would have been a heroin addict in the past, I would not want to read this book. But then again, if you were, why would you read about your experience again? Like, it must be crazy. Let's talk about Emily St. John Mandel's new book. So Emily St. John Mandel's new book is Exit Party. It's coming in September, and I will tell you what it's about first. It's about this woman who is going to a party in Los Angeles set in a not so distant future. And in this party, strange things begin to happen. It's an end of a curfew party, so it's a celebratory party. It kind of reminded me of the end of COVID and the curfews and all of that. And yeah, strange things begin to happen. It's a character that she brought back from one of her old novels, from one of the first novels that she'd written that weren't very famous yet at the time. So she wrote Station 11, The Glass Hotel, Sea of Tranquility, all really nice, beautiful works to me of speculative fiction. Sci-fi, but more like speculative fiction mixed with like a noir atmosphere. And it's really well done. I have had a problem with this book, but again, maybe it's just because ever since I read Station 11, the bar is just so high. I'm like, yeah, her other books are great, but it's not Station 11. And if you don't know, Station 11 is basically a bunch of Shakespeare actors and musicians that are traveling around post-apocalyptic North America after 99% of the population of the world has been wiped out from a pandemic. It was written way before COVID, just, pandemic shit. And that was such an amazing book for me. And every time she came up with, she would have new releases, I would be so excited, because she does have a very specific style. The way that she writes her stories is never linear. It follows a sort of cast of characters, and you kind of jump around the characters. Sometimes it doesn't have a really clear plot, but sometimes, even though it kind of jumps around timelines, you really do feel like a sort of arc. However, I felt that the book after Station 11 was way too short, way too rushed, and I thought that this one was way too long. It tackles the themes of parallel universes. It comes about in a roundabout way. Did I just say that? It comes about in a roundabout way. And yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. I loved the character, but I don't know. I'm kind of sad to have to say that it didn't live up to my expectations. But then again, that's the thing. When you go into a book with high expectations, it's so difficult to, at the end of it, be really satisfied, unless it was really, 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 really good, which is the case for this book, which I really, 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 really liked. And it is Contrapposto by Dave Eggers. This is a new release. This has never been out before this year. This is like my return to the contemporary fiction scene. For a long time there, actually for a long time in general, I just tend to not really read what's, like I used to. There was a period of my life, of my reader life a few years ago, where I was really like on the trend and I was following all these major best-selling trends. I'm pretty sure this is going to be one of those. And not just because it's like one of, the audience's and readers' favorite kind of trope. which is like this long-lasting love story between two people that meet as friends when they're kids, and they kind of have like this ambiguous romance / friendship going on, which I mean, yeah, I love those kind of books, so that also was one of the reasons why I was excited. But just because it's just so, it's perfect. Dave Eggers is really a master of the craft. So this was about art. This was about a friendship, two people that meet when they're 10. This sort of like common defiance, but like the guy, his name is Cricket. Can we just take a second to appreciate the name of the character? The little boy, the dude, the guy, the main character, his name is Cricket. His actual name is Robert, but somehow it came down to Cricket because, you know, well, I'm all for main characters having the cutest nicknames, but like, let's get over that fact just for a second. Cricket, yes. And what so Cricket is a bit more shy, and the other character is Olympia, and she's really like, she's a multi-dimensional, hungry, voracious, zesty and full of spunk and life girl that then grows up to be a woman, and they both basically are artists. She grows up to be a curator, and he sort of remains like this passionate painter, drawer, and it's about the course of life, of a certain lives that dedicate themselves or try to dedicate themselves to the practice of an art. And so the book really explores what is art, its place in society, what, you know, how it calls the people into art, the sort of disillusion as well that comes from like the art world, which I guess it's the similar kind of disillusion as, you know, any kind of profession these days that are related to the arts, whether it's cinema, whether it's the art world, whether it's even in literature. Like, there comes a point where art, because it becomes commodified, and inevitably becomes commodified, there's a part of the spirit, of the sort of subversive spirit of art, that kind of gets swallowed by a system that sort of uses it. It really is one of those novels that does this perfectly, of taking this subject and showing us the prism of it, all the facets of the human beings trying to tackle their lives through art and trying to survive in the workforce, in a way that, you know, doesn't betray themselves and their innate creative drive, obsession, really, because it's often an obsession. It really also poses this question of like the elite aspect of it, like who is it reserved for and how is it transformed depending on whose hands it is in, and depending on whose gaze is watching it, and depending on what utility it has. And also, of course, this beautiful romantic friendship that is just like the heart of it. This was really, 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 really one of the best novels I have read in a really long time. Kudos to Dave. Another novel is Walking on the Ceiling by Ayşegül Savas. It's a Turkish author. I hope I pronounced this correctly. It's the third book I read of hers this year. I think she only has 4 books out. Contemporary author. The protagonists are 2 writers. One of them is like kind of young. She just moved to Paris. And then she meets this older writer, with whom she develops a kind of like a sort of spiritual kind of friendship with, where they bond over a bunch of stories about their home cities, their home country, because they're both from Turkey, and their long walks through Paris, and the specific nature of that friendship, which again is very ambiguous, leaning towards, you know, romantic, but not really overtly at all, just more of like a question mark, which I think was really subtly rendered, and the writing is also pretty genius in this book. I really liked it. Another one I really, oh my god, I just realized I really liked all of them. No, maybe for the other ones it's like more like 2 reallys. This one's really walking through clear water, nipple paint and black baby. Cookie. Her name is fucking Cookie. Genius. Cookie Mueller. So she was the real fucking how do you call that? Countercultural bitch, really. These stories are crazy. She wrote, like, not essays, but she wrote stories based on her life, the adventures that she's been having. And this woman is wild. She has had a child, so she was a mother, she was a cocaine dealer, she was a go-go dancer in New York, and all the while she just happens to stumble upon these like crazy scenarios in her life, and somehow she lives to tell the tale, and she writes it so incredibly well. It's so funny. I relished this book so much. I spent a really long time trying to delay the end of it, even if it's a big book. It's like 400 something pages. I just had to delay it. I was like, do not finish on me now. You were too funny. You know, there's something to be said about funny books. Like, do you often encounter funny books where you're like, ha, you know what? I don't. And when I do, it's an instant 5-star. For me, 5-star book is this. It's funny or it's sad. It makes me laugh or it makes me cry. If you can hammer through this armor, and if I can feel something that I wasn't prepared to feel, especially if it's crying or laughing, because I feel like those are the two sort of like emotions where it's obvious that you're surrendering, then that's a fucking good book, man. Let me tell you, that's a fucking good book. Much better. Anyway, then we have this book that seems very perfect for summer. Like me, you may be stuck in a place or in a city where you don't necessarily want to be in, even though it's nice in the summer when the cities are empty and everybody's on holiday. It's better than when everybody's back. But if you're like me and you're stuck, maybe you want a bit of a little escape. And what better escape than a book called Maps to Anywhere by Bernard Cooper. Who the heck is Bernard Cooper? He was a guy. He was a writer. He existed and he wrote this book. And look at that fucking vintage cover. It's great. I think I found this secondhand somewhere. Nobody's peeing in my apartment. It's just this thing where when it starts to rain, there's like these pipes and it's kind of like a little fountain. So it's just the rainwater. But anyway, Maps to Anywhere. Actually, this was a good book. I really liked it. If you like nonfiction, lyric essays, short essays that are lyrical, they're a bit like prose poems, except that they have more of a narrative. This one is one that you should read. It's sort of a classic in the genre. I know that Annie Dillard, the famous Annie Dillard, said that this book was great. She actually said, if I quote Bernard Cooper is extremely gifted. This book is fascinating. That sounds like such a quick review. It's kind of like the kind of review I write on Goodreads, where I'm like, oh, great book, you know. But it was really good. It was really, really good. It wasn't one of those like one of those like seizing ones for me, but it was really good if you like that specific genre. Did it actually make me lose my mind? Well, thank God it did not. None of these books really have to that extent, but did I transport myself elsewhere? Yeah, sort of. But that's the thing. I do think that because lyric essays are kind of short, I don't know, they're more like poems. They're more like prose poems. It's like when I read these books, it's like it's for the language, it's for the craft of being able to tell a story or to say something or to have a point in like just a paragraph or two. So on a craft level, it was pretty good. Next book is I Do Everything I'm Told, Poems by Fernandes. These are great contemporary poems. Very cool, spunky poet persona. Really sort of punk attitude, very well written. I am all in awe. I don't know what else to say. You know what? What's really nice about the summer when you read poetry in the summer is self-explanatory. reading poetry in the summer. I mean, come on, what more can you ask of life? And so, since it is summer and since I have a book of poetry, I shall give you that pleasure right now. I'll read the title poem. In Venice, there is always drama around the corner, and this city is all corners and decay. You give me that cathedral feeling and wipe rain from blooms of jasmine shrubs on my arm while I speak to Giovanni about Italian boxing. That night, I listen to Miguel on a terrace while you fight with your boyfriend, a chef who doesn't want to meet me. You show photos of his hands with severed heads, black urchin shells, a ripe sea egg. I nod at their dead beauty, put in a playlist called I Do Everything I'm Told, and can't tell what is kink or worship or both. Yeah, it's cute. What can I say? Madness, rack and honey, that's all I say. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is finally, I have found it. I have found it. The book that you would bring on a desert island book. This is the one. This is the one. This is the one. Madness, Rack and Honey by Mary Ruefle. Ruefle Collected Lectures. It's not really essays, although they kind of look like essays. It's not. Yeah, it does sound like a lecture a bit because a lecture is kind of more associative. You can clearly see that this woman has a highly associative mind. This was by far the best book on writing, on poetry, on reading maybe, or literature that I've ever read in my whole life. Period. That's it, you know. And I just to tell you, this thing is like almost 500 pages. Not at all. Not at all. It's not at all that. It's not even 400 pages. Anyway, it's like 350 pages. I read it in a day. In a day. It was so good that the last night I was like 2 a.m. looking at it like I really like, oh my god, I'm almost finished. I just can't believe I started it this morning. Can't believe I didn't do anything today but read this book. And oh my god, it's almost finished. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna finish it. I'm not gonna finish it tonight. I'm gonna finish it tomorrow morning. When I wake up and drink my morning coffee, I am going to be reading the best book I have ever read in the fucking longest time. And I did. I had like 3 or 4 pages left, really nothing, and I was just like, I'm not gonna finish it. Don't want to finish it yet, and I should have though. I should have. There's something to be said about finishing a book like straight, and I didn't. Who cares? Whatever. It was just fucking amazing. My copy is like, you know, you can see it. It's like folded everywhere. It's fucking amazing. It's. What is it even about? It's about madness, rack, and honey. You know what? She explains the madness of it, the rack of it, the honey of it, of writing poetry, of reading poetry, of living in poetry, of being exalted in the interior, in your interior world. Like, there is nothing fucking better because the world out there, let me tell you guys, it's the fucking jungle. It's all chaos. And so what do? We read and write fucking poetry, and then we read people that do that too. I have so much passion for this book, and yet I am not able to tell you what it's about, and that's probably the reason why I love it so much. Is discursive spiraling and constellative. That's not a word. I just invented one though. Constellation, you know, like everything is a constellation. It's so fascinating when a writer is sort of talking about something completely random, like shrunken heads. Okay, don't ask me why, but there is such a thing as the art of shrinking a head. I shall not tell you more. You should go read this woman. And like, how do you connect that to like a random other topics, to writing, to anything? And this is like pure that. This is this woman that is trying to write about poetry, and she tells you from the very beginning, like, I don't know what I have to say really about poetry. Like, there's nothing much to say. It's something that you live and you experience. And so in a way, she lets us experience her mind and like the thoughtscapes and like, okay, like it's, girl, I died, and so you shall die too, and you'll thank me later if you're a writer. This is also another writer's writer kind of book. Fucking hell, it was madness. And rack and honey baby, we're gonna end this video now. And if you're new, you should subscribe. I don't post very much, but when I do, I try to have fun and give you the best fucking books to read for all of the seasons of your life. So, yeah, see you next time. 1 month, 1 year, who knows? Life is surprising like that, and we like it like that, like the good books that we read. Beware of the book that comes to eat people out of their YouTube screens.